Hello, my name is Raphael Freeman from Renana Typesetting, and in this video we're going to show you how we use scripting or scripts that already exist, some of which are commercial and some of which we have created ourselves in order to make our scripting, our typesetting I should say, much better. The first script that we're going to use is, the first two scripts in fact, are by a company called Bookcraft. I'm going to put in the screens exactly the name of them and what they're used for. The first one is called Mastermatic. Okay, this is the Mastermatic. I don't know if you can see it, it's quite small. id-extras.com. And the second script is called Section Stuff, also by the same company. And what these two scripts do is they allow a master page to be applied based on either a paragraph style or an object style. So here I've got a whole bunch of paragraph styles, chapter number, recto, etc. And depending on what appears here, then the master pages will change accordingly. So I've got a master page here, so I call it master page X for an opening chapter. So if we go through this book, you will see that it's always going to start, an opening chapter will have the folio at the bottom of the page and there's no running head. So how does this script actually work? How does it actually help us? So what can happen is that let's pretend the client here has made a bit of a mistake and missed out a paragraph. More text is now following. And if we see that's a bit of a problem, so I'm going to just copy some more random text here. And the problem now is that not only do we have to now change the master page for this text, and there's actually another little problem as well. What we're going to do is we're going to add another footnote, right? We're going to see a couple of problems here. First problem is that it's the wrong master page. Secondly, the footnote renumbering here started with 1. And of course on the next page we've got a total mess. So what do we do? Well, it's actually very easy. I've got a shortcut that I've called for Mastermatic and I just simply press OK. And this script will go through the entire book and reapply all the master pages. So now on page 113 we've got the correct master page at the top. Okay, it tells you what pages it's changed. 114 being a verso is blank and chapter 4 now is in the right place. You can zoom back in your video if you want to actually see what it was before. But we haven't actually fully solved the problem. If we look at the bottom now, we see the footnotes are starting with number 2 and it needs to start with number 1. So what we had done is, in order to make the footnotes work, I'm going to now quickly find the footnote referencing document footnote options. We've said to restart the numbering every section. But of course now page 113 is no longer a section. So here comes the second script, again from idextras.com, section stuff. It said main book starts from section 4. That will put a page 1 on the first page of the actual book. I press OK and it's now going to, all this is happening in real time by the way, it's now going to renumber everything, and this made up footnote, this 186 now, which of course is the same as 184, it's now correct, and now we have page 1 in the right place. So let's go ahead and undo all of that, because of course that's all total rubbish, and we've just deleted that extra paragraph that I made. The whole book now is reflowing, and I just simply, in order to fix everything, hit my shortcut for Mastermatic, which will now reapply all the maths. A book that's 515 pages long, in case you're wondering why everything was taking so long. And then we run the section stuff again, and now you're going to see how it renumbers to page 1. So that's our first little script that we wanted to show you. The second script we wanted to show is a script with a little problem that I have a lot, and that is small caps. Now, small caps are a really big problem in typography, because often clients do like it, don't like it, sometimes they want it, sometimes they don't want it. They don't always let you choose what you want. So we're going to take John, the 23rd here. I'm going to zoom in, and I want to make this small caps, but I don't really want to highlight every single one of them. I'm going to have a lot of them. I also have here Pius the 12th. I also want to deal with him. And it's possible in the book that I might have other Johns and other Piuses, so I want to handle all of those. But I have another problem, and that is, in certain places it might be in italic. And here in our footnotes, what we like to do in footnotes is, where we've got the main text, we've chosen Arno 12 on 15. In our footnotes, we've chosen Arno Pro small text 10 on 12. Using a small text version of the font, it keeps the colour of the page to be more consistent. Otherwise, what would happen is if we just use the regular font, the footnotes would be lighter and it wouldn't be quite as nice. So we're now using an inbuilt script for this, and all we have to do is highlight John, and I just drew a little, I add it to my list of things that I need to do. And I can do the same thing with Pius here. Notice I'm only highlighting the X here. And then I can just go and run my little script, and it will fix all my Johns and all my Piuses throughout the entire book. And what's nice here is that it's fixed with the right weight of character. Now, so here I've got small text, still small text 10 on 12, and I haven't lost that. I can go here, I can go ahead and fix this AM in the same way. Now, with AM I might need to do a little bit more work, because I might want to be a little bit more careful, because in the case of AM, I don't actually want to add all AMs. There might be a person who's called AM Freeman, or something like that. So I have a list here, and I might have to do be a little bit cleverer here. And this is basically a Grep search. So I can just go in here and put in the appropriate, I'm not an expert at Grep, so I might get this wrong. But I'm going to basically say here, if you see any digit followed by a space, followed by AM, go ahead. So let's just see if that worked. Let's see how good I got my Grep right. Okay, I did cheat. I did test this beforehand. So this list here, it gets updated. So now I can go here to World War I, and I also want to World War II whilst I'm at it. And Pope John Paul II and any other Pope John Pauls that I might have in my document. And I can go ahead and I'm going to fix everything throughout the entire book. Now, we talked about Pius earlier, and if you look down here, you'll see that Pius have got a special small cap character style for the appropriate small caps here. So that's what I've done here, and it's another little script. I also have the option with this particular script of doing maybe small caps. In other words, there might be certain words where I'm very sure the client will be happy to do in small caps. I would not put US in small caps because it might be confused with us. But for example, IRC I might put in small caps, and I'm going to put that into my maybe list. So if the client comes back afterwards and says, you know, I'm happy with Pius the 12th to be in small caps, but not so happy with IRC, I can just go in and get rid of all my IRCs. So I'm going to take the WRB and put that in my maybe list as well. And hopefully that will change. Hopefully the apostrophe here won't be a problem. So I can go ahead, and if the client says, oh, I didn't really like that, don't want those to be in small caps, want to keep those in full caps, then in my list, what's happened in my character styles, and this is probably quite small on your screens, but I have my small caps always and my small caps maybe. So that's another little script that we have that makes life easier. The final script that I want to point out is a script by Peter Correll. Fantastic script, and it's a kerning script. This is a free script, but you're very much encouraged to use. You could pay a certain amount with PayPal to contribute. It's donationware, and definitely would encourage that. And what we can see in the latest version of InDesign, we can actually see all the places where any kerning has been applied, and And this Arno font has got absolutely no kerning being applied, not quite sure why. Here we go, sorry, pressed the wrong button. So here we've added a little bit more space after the F and before the H, for example. So after all the F's, a little bit more space, which is very nice. Let's try and find something that's a little bit more interesting. So I don't find anything straight away, but what we can do is we can make something up. So let's say we have a situation. I'm going to try and zoom in even more. We have a classic example of an italic F. Okay, we have an italic F followed by a parenthesis, and of course that's absolutely awful. So we can use Peter Correll's kern script. We can just do on the selected text, and as you can see, the script has now kerned between an italic character and a Roman character. What we can do, of course, and how do we do that? We of course use we can edit all the kerning pairs, and here I'm going to show you the kerning pairs that he has. He comes with some basic kerning pairs, and you can add, and I have with time added. So over here, I have a situation with regular italic followed by regular. So that's the F parentheses, and you can see that. Can't see. You can see that somewhere. You can see that over here. Here we go. The F parenthesis to do 150, and that kerning is now over there. If you can see that, if you've got very high resolution screen, you can see that. So that's how we use different kinds of scripts in order to do things much more quickly. If you have any comments, any questions, please feel free to ask. And as you can see, the process here, very fast of fixing things up very quickly. I just added ICTY to my list. There we go. That's how to reuse scripts. So I hope you've enjoyed this little video, and I hope it's been useful.